you down. Feel the pain all around. Keep the love in your heart and hold your head high.
Welcome to the Let That Go show with Kassira McKee and Richard Skipper. This show is based on Kassira's book, Let That Go, where she guides people in completely blessing and releasing people, places, and all kinds of things. Kassira and Richard share personal insights and experiences based on concepts in Kassira's book, with guests and you, their co-hosts. Are you ready to let that go? Let's go.
And Aaron Grelor, and look at what he's reading. Let that
Grelor, darling.
But
checking my notes.
Checking your notes. So, what page are you reading tonight? Read the first paragraph from what you're reading. And these are
I grabbed page.
Just open it randomly, I guess.
Yeah, I grabbed page 138, and the part that caught my attention. Wait a second. I think I lost it when the first step is to stepping into blessing and releasing our habits of addiction, and to admit we've created those for ourselves. After that, being open and it's perfect with our moon that we're going to be going into. This Pisces moon is all about looking at, it's interesting. Pisces is one of the signs that's associated with addiction. It's associated with illusion, delusion, and so all that stuff comes up for us now. All of it comes up, during this period. Anyway, we'll get into that. So how's everybody doing?
I'm doing great. Kassira, how are you?
It's freezing in Dallas today. It's 98.
Ooh.
We're so cold here right now. Ooh. Yeah, it's still hot. It's not hotter than 10 whores. It's hotter than a couple of whores. Just a couple.
Did you have your diva night?
What do you mean?
Well, the last time you and I spoke, you were going to be going out on a diva night.
Oh, yes. I hung out with one of my divas I hadn't seen in person in a while. She is a true diva, and we laughed for hours. It was wonderful.
Oh, good.
She made lovely dinner, and we had a couple of cocktails, and just laughed ourselves silly. She's practices a form of Buddhism I practice. Meditation, and has practiced Buddhism. So yeah, she's like my sister.
Oh, that's wonderful. Great.
It was lovely. How about you, Richard?
I'm doing great. I was saying to Aaron before we started, this is always a very unique time of year for me because it's always that back to school thing going on, and it's still there in my mind. Provincetown was a huge success for me, thank God. And but now that I'm back in, I haven't really gotten back in the swing of things. This past week was a very strange week for me in terms of just holding on to my mojo, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's like I want to jump in with both feet on the ground and saying, okay, guys, what's the next step for me? Where do I go from here? What do I do next? And yet, I'm feeling as if the rest of the world isn't catching up with me, if that makes sense to you right now. Because it's that, people are still on vacation, people are still going away, we still haven't gotten to Labor Day yet, and it's this weird limbo period. But while I'm thinking about that, Aaron has been going through earthquakes and hurricanes and tornadoes. Oh my!
Yeah.
Wow. California's really been hopping, baby.
And we're just hot here. We're just hot.
Yeah.
We're just hot here. That's all. Same old, just hot.
Yeah, we've been wishing for rain. We need to say probably not all at once. Just one, maybe spread it out a little bit more. It was nice.
Maybe too many rain dances were happening. Maybe too many rain dances.
Exactly.
Here we were supposed to get a little rain today, and haven't yet. It's been cloudy, but that means absolutely nothing in Texas. So, and I noticed that means kind of nothing in Santa Fe too. It would be cloudy for days and not one drop of rain.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
So, fellas,
Who's
so,
who's
fellas.
peeking in on us right now? Let's see who somebody's we're
Alex, that's Sushi Keys, and he says, "Happy Blue Moon, Richard,
Hi.
Cherry, and everyone." And I want to do a shout out. Sherry had a birthday this week, so
Yes,
happy
she
birthday,
did.
Sherry. And of course, two things that it's this strange dichotomy. Tomorrow is actually the 60th anniversary of the March in Washington.
Oh,
this
yes.
this week also is the anniversary of the brutal murder of Emmett Till. And so that energy that is still prevalent in the world, and we just had another mass shooting in Jacksonville, Florida. And I just, my wish, my hope, and I'm not getting political, I'm just going to put it out there, is that we can get on board with background checks. And that doesn't take away people's Second Amendment rights. We really need to get on board with this because all the signs were there with this young man. And when I think about...
And it includes background checks. It's not just, anybody. If you're not a felon, you can change your name. If you're not a felon, you can get a gun. But they should check social media as well.
That's what. Thank you, Cassira.
It should be an FBI, CIA type of background check.
I agree.
And even if you just wiped it all out, they're still out there somewhere. There should be a CIA trash heap, like a virtual trash heap. You go find everything people deleted and their pages they canceled, so you can see just what they're doing. Yeah.
But that energy that's out there, I remember when I was in high school and in our psychology class, and I was 17 at the time, our teacher, Ms. Hendrickson, said, "So what are you going to do when you graduate from high school?" And no one in the house, in the room raised their hand except for me. I said, "I'm going to go to New York and I'm going to be an actor." And I knew it. And that ambition that I have is just as strong today as it was when I first came to New York. And I've often wondered, is it a blessing or is it a curse to have that kind of ambition? Because while other people are just going about their lives existing or living from day to day to day, I'm always thinking about, when is the next gig going to come along? When is that next, I'm in the moment of what's going on, but I'm always thinking about what is next, because Sarah, you know this as well as anyone in this business. Careers are based on the connectivity of one event leading to the next, and being in the public eye, being in the consciousness of other people. And I find that I am working. That's why I work as hard as what I do with all that I do here, because I'm constantly keeping my face and my name and my brand in the consciousness of as many people as I possibly can.
Well, it's interesting. Cassira asked a question. She brought up something earlier. She said that she just discovered her moon in her astrology when she was born, and
it's not. It's the phase that the moon was in.
The phase of the moon, right? The lunation cycle is what. Yeah. So the phase of the moon. You said it was the gibbous phase.
It was a waning gibbous moon, meaning it was coming off of a full moon and going into a dark moon.
Right, and so I looked that up from the work of let's see. And
I being Cancerian, born July 1st, it's my sun planet, so the moon, and so I feel the positive energy when it hits and when it is going dark.
Yeah.
Interestingly, that's a better time of the month for me. Interestingly, other shit happens. That during a new moon, before we get to the full moon, it's just, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead.
So what this says is that people born the moon in the same lunation cycle as yours is you're sharing ideas, manifest social. You're born basically to teach and communicate. It bubbles out of you. It comes out of you to teach people and to communicate. And personally, I've always seen you as that kind of person. You have the stuff that comes out. It's very you learn. It's like you learn stuff to communicate out to teach other people. And then I looked up Richard, and Richard, you just gave us such a brilliant example of yours. Yours is called yours is in the balsamic phase, and it's structures and the preparation for new. You're designed to always be in preparation for new developments. You always sense, well, let's see, individuals may sense themselves as owning a social destiny or owning a social destiny and heralding a new world order. So
wow.
It says, new world order. So yeah, you're all about the new coming in. You know that it's coming in. You know that you're part of it, and that's why you feel that kind of like, well, wait a minute, why do I not know what I'm supposed to do right now? I know what I'm supposed to do. So it's there. You know what you're supposed to do. You know what your destiny is. You know what you've keyed into your GPS system and where it's leading you. You know, you might be hung up in traffic for a minute, but it's either gonna redirect you one way or another, or it's gonna push you forward. It's always gonna find the shortest distance for you. So you'll be ducking and swerving, like that. And it's funny that I also pulled up the Knight of Pentacles. Can you see it there?
Yes. Wow.
Which was all, and the funniest thing when I shuffle the deck, I do it over and over until something either jumps out. Literally, this is the only card that was face up in the deck that was face down. I thought, well, now that's very interesting.
God bless you. I have a question for Kasira because I'm just interested. You bring up an interesting point because now you've added another level for me to think about. I've never thought about the phase of the moon when I was born. We're always taught about where the moon is positioned astrologically. I just looked it up while I'm sitting here while you were talking, and I had a waning crescent moon the night I was born. What was it, Kasir, that
you had a new crescent moon when you were born?
It was a waning crescent moon. I just looked it up.
Oh, okay. Well, he said balsamic. I'm not sure of that. I thought it was a salad dressing. I don't know what he meant by balsamic.
But I want to ask you, Kasira, what led you? Did you come upon this by accident, or were you actively seeking this information out?
Well, when I was researching the blue moon, which I'd like to get to, we're coming upon a blue supermoon. And I looked it up because I wanted to know what was going on. Where was the moon in the phases, when I was born? And I was actually at the point of the first quarter. I was at the point of the first quarter when I was born. The moon, a supermoon especially, is closer to the Earth, so it has a more intense gravitational pull. And it means heightened emotions. People are hypersensitive. We're becoming more and more so right now, day to day, until that full moon hits and until it's gone, until it's going to be big. Like we may have a couple of weeks. I'm saying maybe almost a couple of weeks of the energy of that gravitational pull. People are going to be sensitive and really emotional.
And this is a biggie.
Yeah, super moons, but. People say once in a blue moon. They mean that because a blue moon occurs about every 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're getting to experience a super blue moon together, which is fantastic.
And this is the last blue moon that we will have, as you just said, Kasira, for another, I think it's 5 or 6 years before we have our next one.
It's alleged. Oh, okay. Okay, because of what my research said, every 8 years. Okay. So, and hang on just a second. This is a really good time because we're so emotional. It's a good time to look inwards and reevaluate our goals.
Mm-hmm.
But it's brighter than usual. Take a look tonight. Every night it gets brighter than usual. It's a good time to set intentions, release negative energy, and this one, manifest abundance.
Yep.
I'm like, bring it on.
No.
Yep.
Okay,
Get it
bring
in.
it on.
Yep.
Every time I hear the word manifestation or manifest, it's like the duck is coming out of the ceiling and landing right on my head.
On your head. May the duck of life land on your doorstep.
Yes.
Hello, Doug McAllister. Yes, I said your whole name. Hi, Dougie. So I find it. I noticed. I've not noticed this about my dogs before, but I'm keeping a friend's dogs and cats as well right now, and they're really today. They've been very clingy. I mean, typically they're always clingy, but it seems to me extra clingy. They're all extra clingy right now. Like we have a new kitten-ish. He's so cute. And he's just decided that I'm okay to snuggle against just now. And he's like 5 months old or something.
Oh.
5 months, maybe 4 or 5 months old. And he's like, okay, it's time to snuggle now. I need to be next to you always. So I sense a little maybe anxiety with the animals.
Mm-hmm.
And my Lotus is being even more vocal than she usually is, if that's possible. Doug says I'm manifesting weight gain for sure.
Well, sometimes abundance, is can be what we don't want.
And so manifesting abundance, but also like really go. I mean, we've been going within for how many moons now? 3.
Yeah.
Time to go within, and
this is the final one. Yeah, this is the final.
Yeah.
See, with Pisces, it's going to be very deep and emotional, and we're going to it'll reveal these really dark little pockets. The Pisces being the one that wants to really kind of expand into and connect with everything emotionally, electrically. Being water, it's going to seek everything out, and it'll bring it into our view. And the moon will be so bright, so intense that it will be there right in front of us. So of course the opportunity now, we won't be able to run from it. That's the thing that we'll see. We can't hide from the light that's produced right now. And when I say light, it's not just the light from the moon. That's representing the energetic light that's bringing everything up and showing it as obviously as possible.
You just said that it reminded when I was a kid. I grew up in South Carolina, so there was a huge billboard on Highway 501, which was the main. It was the main mode of transportation between Conway and Myrtle Beach. But there was this huge billboard, and it said "Moonshine Kills," and of course, it was talking about moonshine, alcohol. But when I was a kid and I saw that sign, I thought it meant that moonshine could kill you. So
you mean the race?
So I when I was a kid, I every night before I would go to bed, I would make sure that there was no way that the rays of the sun, the rays of the moon, could seep their way into my bedroom.
Wow. Oh.
And you just talked about trying to run away from it, and it just triggered that memory.
That's funny. Think about how many kids saw that sign and thought, "Wow, I got to stay away from the moon." Yeah.
I finally, when I finally told my parents, and they laughed about it and said, "We got a lot of learning to do. This is not what that's about."
Right.
And it made me feel so much better. Oh my God.
Yeah. This would be the time. Yeah. Okay. That's very funny. I can't follow that one. I have to change the subject because that was too funny there. But through the eyes of the innocent, that's really a brilliant commentary. This would be the time when the witches or the secret holders would come out. Their herbs, their psychedelics and all that stuff would be ready for and their potions would be ready for to share. They would go out in this bright energetic moon to energize their potions. And it's hot, so of course they'd be running around naked, but it's okay because they could see what they were running through. So I can see this Bacchanalia kind of like Dionysian kind of festival deep into the night as the moon, traversed the sky, as this full moon traversed the sky. And of course we have the sun is in Pisces, so we have that virgin energy looking up into the depth of this moon and shining back and revealing all, literally revealing all to the moon.
So, my friend that I saw this is so weird. The night before I went to see my friend, I had a dream that I found a crystal, this huge clear crystal, and it broke in half, and I ended up with 2 crystals. And when I went to her place, I discovered on a side table, 2 giant crystals in a holder. And I went, what? And I told her immediately, it needs natural light. So she moved it over by a window, and I said, soon the full moon will be out and it'll get a nice cleansing. But yeah, when you're cleansing stones, natural stones, then usually, if you really want to do it right, it's a bowl of water with lemons, not cut lemons, just whole lemons in the moonlight, cleans everything up. And a little salt too.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it'll be a good one for that. What do we have here? Moonshine Lullaby. Yeah, so we have this energy, and let's see what else we have in here. Well, what is? Let's see here.
Oh, and I did find something blue, Aaron.
You did.
I'm wearing the only blue thing I own.
Okay.
If it's not black, it ain't on my back. Because everything I own is.
I can sort of see. Yeah, it's dark, so it looks like a black, but I can see it.
It's
aqua. Yeah, I can see it now.
It's aqua-ish.
The other thing that I noticed that was interesting about this Piscean full moon is that it is at 7 degrees, which numerologically that's a very mystical number, very deep diving number. Basically, the revealer, I always see the number 7 as shaped like a garden hoe, where it's going out and digging up stuff. In this case, everything will be kind of floating by us. And with that 7 energy, there are a lot of indicators here in the chart that says to me that, things will be revealed. Brace yourself. Hold yourself. Here's the nice thing about Pisces is it's very compassionate. So we hold ourselves in a compassionate embrace while we're going through this revelation. And these are coming up so we can let go of it, getting back to really the core of what we talk about. These energies come up so that we can see what is here in front of us, so we can see these delusions that we may have accepted into our lives, that we may have been given, that we may, we can see past illusions and delusions and hold it in a new light and really find ourselves and find our own power. We can allow it to float away from us and let go of it and not try to grasp onto it. And there's a beautiful analogy of letting go and allowing a cork. The idea is the cork is our emotional being, and we're trying to control it, but when we release it, it naturally elevates itself. It floats up to the top of the water, and it bobs around naturally and easily. When we try to control these things, that's when we run into trouble. Let's see here. There's some other energies around that are controlling, but all of this is just to create the image, create for us the opportunity to see. Just like, we might have dreams, which is very cool when we start approaching the Piscean or the 12th house energies. we have these really interesting dreams. I mean, I had a dream about a light switch in my house that doesn't quite work right. And I didn't think of the light switch. I just thought the light isn't going on properly. What's the problem? And in the dream, it said, check the light switch. So that's my next project.
Well, I had the most vivid dream. I dreamed that I was going up in an elevator to the 189th floor. I don't know why it was that number, but that number was so vivid in I was going up and I was on, but this elevator was a glass elevator, and I have a fear of heights. So I made sure that everybody was looking out at the view, and my back was to everybody. And then I got to the top, and somehow, and don't ask how this happened in my dream, but when I came down, I got to the top and I could not step out into that area. I decided to stay on the elevator and go back down. But when I was going back down to the elevator, I was completely naked.
Oh my!
The glass elevator. Okay.
What was that?
I got it. On a glass elevator.
And then, 189. 189 is the number 18. Interestingly.
Right.
Wow, that was my dream last night, everybody.
Which is a power. In my numerology book, 18 is a number. It's a power number.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in Judaism. It's a big number.
Wow.
18 is an important number. Look into the number 18. I went through a period when I lived in New York where I dreamt about the letter G and the number 18 several times. So if you dream about a letter, make note of that as well. But look up 18.
I'll definitely look that up.
Yeah. But it's interesting that you were naked coming back down. Were you clothed going up?
I was clothed going up.
Interesting. Wow. Wow.
So you
I wonder what the
you went to 18 and you shed something. You went to 18 and shed something and left.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You shed something important.
I just looked this up. It said in numerology, the number 18 is a powerful number that symbolizes success and new beginnings. It is made up of numbers 1 and 8, which represent abundance and new beginnings. The number 18 can also mean that you're a natural leader and pioneer. You're always looking for new ways to improve and are very independent. You're also very creative and have an excellent understanding of people. You are broad-minded and could be educated in several different fields, particularly, everyone pay attention, the arts. If you keep seeing the number 18, it means that the angels are asking you to stay on your current path. It is also a reminder that you're on the right path and that the universe is aligning people and situations in your life to bring you closer to your twin flame. The number 18 is the most militant and straightforward of all the Mars numbers. And these numbers have a digit sum of 9, which includes 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, and 81. And I'm going to be 63 next year.
Wow. You know, the other number that's part of the combination is the number 9 at the end. So in floor 189, and 9 is the end of the cycle in regular numerology. It's the most powerful number. It kind of has that shape of the spiraling in. It's to me, it says that you're surrounded by this is your destiny. You know, that your destiny is to go and shed yourself and be naked in front of all. And it's funny that your moon is in Aquarius, that that really you connect with all. You know, you see how you have this. You're there for the all and for the collective. Wow, that's amazing.
I've also been thinking a lot lately about our former president, who was number 45, and a lot of people refer to him only as 45. That's a 9, and it's the end of a cycle. And I think that the way that we look at our democracy is going through a major change right now, and it's very interesting that energy that he brought to the White House is very prevalent, very much so, in the politics that we are dealing with in the world right now. So it's something to think about.
I wouldn't call 9 I wouldn't call 9 the most powerful number, but I would say in my book, on my island, 9 is the number of completion.
Right.
All the 9s I've ever met had, if they have something to complete in a day, they have to do it. They have to get it done, or they lose sleep over it in the night. They are completers. I know one 9 that's kind of a procrastinator, but she said, I am not that way. And I said, yes, you are, about specific things that you choose. Something, other things you let them slide. And, but what you choose to be important in the day, you will definitely get that done. So 9 is the number of completion. 9's, it's interesting. 8 is not the money number. It is an entrepreneur number. Most of the 8s I've met either have their own business and work for themselves, or they, if they work for another, they can work for a company if they have a high position and they can do whatever they want. The difference between 8s and 9s is 8s have a really hard time delegating because nobody can do it better than them. They have a really hard time delegating things to employees or helpers or assistants, and then end up jumping in and doing it with them. 9s, however, have no problem delegating. They have no problem having minions and lots of ants in the hill that do their bidding. They just let them go and they go do what they got to do. Yeah.
Well, speaking of,
so you got 18. Yes.
I want to put you on the spot. What is your numerology book about?
Oh, who knows? I don't know.
Numerology.
I gotta let that go out a little bit more. I gotta get more people reading it for the information, and then we'll do the numerology book.
Well,
we're waiting. We're looking forward to it.
Oh, right now? Okay, hang on. So I drew some cards when we were talking before we started, and I'm not sure who these are for either of you guys. But the first card it was from my Asenai deck. Oops, Asenai. It's an angelic deck. The first one I drew was balance. I'll read it to you. We are with you, even though you sometimes think you are alone in a huge demanding experience. We are here. Feel us and center yourself. That's definitely for Richard. Because you said it doesn't feel like people are keeping up with you. That's what, before you even said that, I drew that card.
Wow.
Nice.
And then here's intuition. Intuition is the language from the angelic realm. It resides where the rational mind is allowed to keep silent, where the doubter is calmed. We've had a lot of conversations recently, me and Aaron, about our intuition and plugging in. Here's a really good card for the both of you. This is from my Sacred Animal deck. I drew lion, which means higher calling. You have within you all the courage you need to let go of the past and reclaim your majesty. You will find success and contentment with those by your side. Make noble choices for your life and your tribe. Higher calling for both of you. And then, as I've done for Aaron, yes, Doug, I will do these cards for you. I got medicine bundle, an hour of power.
Oh.
Medicine bundle means abundantly, maybe a few little things in a little bag that makes you feel good. You feel like they're good luck charms. They mean something to you. I like to have a stone or something on me sometime in my purse or in my bag, or a little crystal or something. But putting together all those things. This is for Richard. Putting together all those things that you feel are good medicine for you.
Okay.
And you're also working towards your hour of power. So that means a lot. those 2 minutes. And we'll get into it later, Richard, when I can read from the book.
Great.
Cool. The other deck that I pulled from, one of my favorites, it's Crystal Oracle deck. And they have beautiful cards that are just a crystal. I pulled one here and I have it bookmarked. This one is the Rhodonite card. I'll hold it here and then I'll read. I actually haven't seen a Rhodonite. I don't know, but the caption is achievement, potential, emotional balance, and an open heart. Now, we always talk about open our heart. This says that it's really, really encouraging us to operate from the heart. And in fact, it's asking us to filter anything through the heart. So if we feel alone, filter through the heart, come back, bring it into the heart. If we feel, excited, this is the thing that I'm remembering is that once we get what we want, we forget about everything else. We forget, okay, let's connect back to the heart. But the getting what we want is designed to bring us back to the heart and say, look, my heart, I got connected with my heart. Everything lined up. We got everything. It worked out great. Let's stay connected with the heart. But for some reason, I find myself, dropping that. Oh, got what I want. Okay, just watch TV now. But maybe I can take the opportunity in my own life to say, oh, wait a minute. Let's sit with this feeling for a little longer. Got what I want. I got what came through my heart. I don't have to ask for anything else because I know that my heart is really open and taking care of that. And, maybe just connecting more with that open heart feeling. This says, now this is for the collective. You're well on your way to achieving your heart's desires. So trust and keep an open mind. Life is always full of potential and you are always on the right track. So do not be discouraged by recent setbacks that you may have experienced. Keep quietly focused on all that which you wish to create and to achieve. Enjoy the journey and keep a loving attitude. Have patience and faith, and the universe will help you manifest your dreams. Yeah, it's that number 9 again, energy. That's all that energy's out there just saying, okay, we're ready for you. Let's do it again. You got something. Let's do it again. And
the universe likes to hear, yes, I like the way this feels. More of this, please.
Yeah.
More of this. More of this right here, right this second. I'm in a moment of bliss. More bliss, please. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interactive between the two of us because we're all connecting to that and amplifying it. So it's nice that we get together and do these because I always feel really charged up, a little bit drained after because there's stuff that bubbles out that has to be dealt with, but in general, encouraged, and blissed. Let's see. I was looking at a note, at a comment, and I lost it. I don't know who said what. Anyway, what did I have next here? Oh, what did you guys have next? I don't know. I'm a little bit discombobulated on this.
Well,
it's the energy. It's the energy of it. Yeah.
As I said before, and I pulled the 6 of Pentacles. That was the card that I pulled before we went, and then I pulled 2 moon cards tonight. Balance, the full moon in Pisces, which we're going to be experiencing this week. Balance, spirituality, and practicality. I love this card.
Very nice.
Interesting that this is a blue moon, this card, as well. So, powerful energy. And then here is the blue moon, and I love what it says, believe in the impossible.
Oh, I love that.
And I love the quote from Audrey Hepburn that said, impossible, when you break it down, actually is I'm possible.
Oh.
Wow. Like it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I am
love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting. All of these cards that we're drawing and all this stuff that we're seeing is all about that. It's all about the infinite possibility that we live in at all times. Maybe sometimes it gets a little cloudy and, But we get these opportunities to come back around and see, wait a minute, I am more than that small ego situation is telling me that I am. I have much more available to me in this moment. Yeah, there's been one of the other things that's been happening over the past couple of weeks, past week or so. Some friends were having some friends reported that their father got sick and was, I think he had a stroke. And so we had the opportunity through a big text thread to all, it's interesting. We don't use these text threads to say, oh, that's horrible. We say, okay, this is my opportunity to connect at a higher level and share that connection within this group. And kept happening. And I think that we needed a little more because he got sick again. Of course, he's in the hospital and he's in a safe place. And we got to sharpen our intentions a little bit more, which was very nice, because then we could say, wait a minute, okay, am I really connecting? Maybe I'm not really connecting. Let's just sharpen a little more, bring in a little more energy, a little more light, a little more love. And I always remind myself to allow that energy in, to allow it to come through. Because really, I'm not producing any light. I'm not producing enough light of myself. However, I can allow enough light to come through. And sometimes that's different. That might be just smiling. That might be just, laughing. It might be a physical thing of slow down, take a few deep breaths, do some breathing, and then bring this person into my consciousness. Collectively, when we see that, then we get a little reflective bounce back, because then suddenly somebody else will interject exactly what I was thinking or exactly what I was doing, and it's a lot of fun. It's.
Do you find that is everybody actually jumping on that plane of being open-minded, or is there any resistance in the group at all?
No, everybody's jumping in.
Oh, that's
jumping
wonderful.
in. They're if nothing else, they're sending one of those heart emojis or something, which means they chose that emoji to send. Nobody's jumping in with any kind of negative comment or anything. It's interesting that we don't even go to that in this group, and we do. See, we talk about this a lot too within this group. We talk about this idea of healing. We've all witnessed each other when, I'm going to heal a friend, and then they get sick. It's like, well, really, you're not doing the healing. Your ego was trying to do something, but the healing has to be me taking the elevator to the 189th floor, the glass elevator, and then dumping everything and then coming back down, bringing that energy back down as a clean, pure entity, bringing it back down to the ground floor, wherever this catastrophe, disaster, or whatever is occurring. So I love that you shared that image, because that's actually a meditation that I did with a group. I didn't run the meditation. I was in the audience, and during this meditation, we were taken to a high floor, and she said, look at the buttons. All the buttons have negative. Like, you can choose a floor that says negativity. You can choose a floor that says judgment. You can choose a floor that says reclusiveness, or any kind of negative attitude. She can name 20 of them or so. And she said, skip over that one, go to the top floor, which says higher self. And so we all push the button to take it to the top floor. And she says, as we're going up, I'm going to describe what's on the floor. She described that it was a bright, beautiful room. It was a beautiful floor that seemed expansive, and there was light coming from sources that couldn't be determined. And when you get out and you open the elevator door, you are going to see your higher self. And the wildest thing is that we're in a conference room, and many of us reported the same thing over and over. Really remarkable. So that exercise is beautiful. Going up, and when we're cleansed, see, clothing is an ego thing. You know, I'm going to put this on so somebody thinks a certain way about me, or so I think a certain way about myself. But when we're in this idea of being washed clean, we have nothing on. We're just us. We're just the pure vessel that we were born with. So there is a lot of beautiful truth in that sharing. So I thank you for sharing that dream, even though it makes it a little bit vulnerable, and it might sound a little weird, but I think it's a higher sourced information that you just shared. And
it reminds me, what you just said reminds me of the 10 worlds in Buddhism. Hell, hunger, anger, and animality are the 4 lower worlds. Top 2 worlds are Bodhisattva and Buddhahood. And so, yeah, that's a really good way of describing it in an elevator. I like that. I like that.
A glass elevator. Very nice. Yeah.
By the way, hi, Deborah Stone. Hi,
Deborah Stone is here. I see her. Hi, Deborah. It's very interesting. My mom, I hope she won't mind my saying this, but it shared.
Well, you'll find out.
I'm going to find out. She shared something on her Facebook the other day, and it was, please remember, Jesus is the only way to get to heaven. And I responded to my mom, as I normally would do, like this. And I said, well, what about our Jewish brothers and sisters and our Buddhist brothers and sisters and Hindus, etc.? I would like to think of heaven as more than just an exclusive country club.
Yeah.
But it's so true. I mean, you talk about that aspect of clothing being off of us. When people are all wearing the same uniform, you have no sense of where they've come from, what they've done, and everything. And it's true of all of us when you think about them. So I read something recently that I shared on the show before, where someone said what we all see within each other is their director's cut,
right?
What they are presenting, and I think that there are aspects of all of our lives that we either choose. Some people wear their emotions on their sleeves, and then others prefer to keep that aspect of their lives private. And it's very interesting because when people are going through an illness, a lot of times some people will say, please have your friends pray for me, because they believe in the power of prayer and everything. And then there are other people that say, please don't tell anyone I'm going through this. And it's very interesting towards the very end of our lives, how we are processing that information. I was, believe it or not, I was watching The Love Boat this afternoon, and Florence Henderson and Jeffrey Tabor, she thought because her mother had died early in the character, and that her grandmother had died early, that she was predestined to die early. And so she wanted Jeffrey, while they were on the Love Boat, to find a new successor to him. And it was upsetting him that she thought that she was going to be leaving. And so finally, he came up with this idea. And he sat down with her and he said, I found the perfect person to follow you. But what I want you to do is I want you to transfer your bank account to her. And I want you, the necklace that you're wearing, I want you to give to her, because you're not going to be able to use it anymore. And she said, wait a minute. I'm not going to go away so soon. And that changed the whole dynamic of, this idea that she was not ready to check out. And it's all a matter of how we process it all and what we choose to present to the world or not.
Yep.
That happened to Patti LaBelle. Her mother and her sister died, same age, of cancer. Yes. And she just said, that's not happening to me. That is not going to happen. And it hasn't. It's really remarkable. Every time we talk about the clothes and the no clothes, I keep thinking of the Emperor's New Clothes.
Yes.
Because some people think they're wearing an outfit that they really aren't. and we can see through it.
Yeah.
And there's been a certain person in the news lately that every time I see this person, I think of the Emperor's.
I can see that.
Everybody's going, that's fabulous, and he's not wearing anything.
Yeah.
But it's true that people, and you can have the most blatant information right in front of you, and people are choosing to see what they want to see. And we've done that within ourselves. We, with relationships. I love the, getting back to Kasira's book again, that Kasira talks about the stories that we love to tell over and over and over again. And a lot of times it's much more comfortable to be in that story rather than saying, wait a minute, this is not acceptable to me anymore. I recently went through a cathartic stage with a situation in my life where I realized I don't want that anymore. And even when the doors were opening for changes, my version of what I want in my life anymore does not include that anymore. And so as soon as I made that decision, I felt like a big anvil was lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah. We get to relive the cycle until we realize we have power in it. We have some say in what happens.
I'm sorry. We have 8 minutes.
Yes.
Do we want to meditate, Mr. Aaron Bringel?
Yes, we do.
And I want to share this. I do want to say before we go into the meditation, thank you all for being here this week. Please go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. And also, please, if you enjoyed tonight's show, tell your friends about this. Tell other people. We will be back again. I think it's going to be the last Sunday night in September, because that'll be around the time of the next full moon, and we will talk about that as well. But don't let this just be a show that you watch and sit back. I hope that you will take these lessons that we are all talking about tonight and carry them with you as you go into the next month. We're about to go into a new month, and September is a very powerful month of the year for a lot of reasons. It's when some people refer to it as the second January. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take Kasira and me off camera, and then I'm going to bring our overlay over so that the focus can be on your words.
Yes.
And when you finish, everything will end. Thank you all for being here tonight, everyone. And I'm turning it over to you, Aaron. It's all yours.
Bye, everybody. Bless you.
Bye. Okay, as usual, we want to feel our body. We want to know that we have a body. We want to know that we have thoughts. And by doing that, we simply take a deep breath in through our nose. And then take a longer exhale through our nose. And what we're going to do as we're breathing, I'm going to encourage you to continue slowly and consciously breathing. And we're going to open our body. We feel our body. We're just going to relax it. Let it open. Open our body. Open our mind. Allow a new idea, a new thought, something surprising to come in. Just allow it to come in as we breathe slowly. Breathe slowly. And we open our perception so that we can feel differently. We can feel the energy that we are in as we're breathing slowly. We can feel the autumn for the northern hemisphere. We can feel, I believe it's early spring for the southern hemisphere. Maybe still winter, but we can feel that we're in it. We know it, and we can accept that as we breathe and connect. We can connect to these cycles. And we connect with the cycle of breath. So we breathe in and open our body, open our mind, open our perceptions. And then on the in breath, we're going to invite light. Whatever color comes to mind, We've been talking about a blue moon. If blue comes to mind, allow that to come in. And we're going to see this light entering us from 360 degrees, as if we are a little ball and it's coming at us from all directions. This is a nurturing light. It's given to us. We can allow it to come into our awareness that it is always given to us. And we absorb this light, allow it to go into our bones, into our flesh, into our blood. We see it entering and nourishing, comforting and treating us. On our next in-breath, we are going to simply say to ourselves, I am receiving this light. And on our out-breath, we're now going to allow any toxin to be released. We're going to allow any imbalance to be released. We're going to allow any negativity that pops in to be released. So we allow ourselves to see it and watch it go, watch it disappear, observe it dissipating and going away. And in the vacuum, as we breathe in, we can breathe in more light. And on the next inhalation, we're going to invite this light into our emotional body. And as we inhale, we see our emotions being activated by this light. Anything that is negative may be activated. This light gives us the opportunity to see it. And as we exhale, we see this negativity. We might see a darkness. We might see a shadow of some kind. We can simply allow the light to dissolve it. Allow the light to dissolve it. And on our next inhale, we allow this light to enter our emotional body in a way that it has never entered before. We can see ourselves being enlightened, being lifted. We can feel joy moving in. And as the joy moves in, as the joy moves in, as the peace moves in, we simply exhale. Once again, we can inhale this beautiful light and let it amplify this love. The light can amplify our peace. And we know that this is for us. This light is for us. This joy is for us. This peace is for us. And all we have to do is give some gratitude into it. Give some appreciation and then exhale. And now if we have any loved ones that we choose to share this light with, bring them into your field of vision. I bring into my field of vision all my family, all my friends, all my coworkers. It doesn't matter what I think of them or what. They are there for a reason, and I'm going to bless them now. I'm simply going to share my light with them. Simple, easy thing. It's the most natural thing for me to share my higher being with those who are in my environment around me. continue to breathe slowly, inhaling and exhaling, slowly, deliberately. And as we do this, we see our loved ones being infused with this same light. We see those that we call our adversaries infused with this same light. We see these negative situations obliterated by this light, dissolved by this light. Any differences between me and the person I call an adversary is gone. And we can see now that the light is brighter. The light is more intense. The healing of this light is more magnified. And now we simply accept, we simply allow, and we simply appreciate. We add another layer of appreciation. And we add another layer of appreciation. And we add another layer of appreciation. As we bask in all of this beauty, we remind ourselves that this is available all the time. This is not separate from us, ever, not ever separate. We simply connect. We simply step into this beautiful light. And I thank all those who participate in this now and in the future.